This is a weakening of American society. We are setting the stage, and it feels like we are looking at corrosion.
Over the summer, conservatives freaked out about Cardi B and the song WAP. Well, apparently that was a very lucrative effort, as once again, conservatives are out here freaking out about Cardi B and the song WAP. Now, before I get to the clip of Candace Owens on Fox News doing just that, let me first show you what it's all about. Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion deliver first ever WAP performance at 2021 Grammys. Now, I can't show you the performance because I imagine it's copyrighted with the music, but this gives you an idea of what went on stage. A very provocative performance here from Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion. Now, you know, even though this may not be your cup of tea, to make this the central issue of a political news show in prime time, you got to think is a little extreme. But apparently, not only is it the central issue, but it is the reason that American society is being destroyed. Watch this.
They call this great. They say this is fabulous, that this is the stuff that children should be aspiring towards. So at the same time, Tucker, that we have kids that are not learning hard academics anymore in school, right? Forget about mathematics and science. You can trust the science and trust Dr. Fauci, but you have these kids learning about critical race theory. They're learning that they should aspire to people like Cardi B. You see that fundamentally we are seeing the destruction of American values, American principles, and it's terrifying. I think parents should be terrified that this is the direction that our society is heading towards. And again, we are weakening America. That's really what we should be talking about. This is a weakening of American society. We are setting the stage, and it feels like we are looking at corrosion, like we are about to see the end of an empire. America cannot survive. It cannot be sustained under these sorts of values and principles.
The weakening of American society. Corrosion. End of an empire. Cardi B's performance at the Grammys. Not crushing student debt. Not low wages, not extreme poverty, not bigotry, not the fact that corporations control your health care. No. Cardi B dancing at the Grammys provocatively. That is the end of an empire. It is incredible what they can turn into an issue. This is no different than Elvis Presley swinging his hips back in the 50s and 60s and people freaking out about that. This is no different than that. This has no impact on anyone's life directly whatsoever. You don't have to like the performance, but this is a political news show in prime time, spending a segment talking about Cardi B's dancing as the end of an empire. And if you have the transcript to Candace Owens' commentary here, it really doesn't make any sense. She goes back and forth, discusses how, it's really about shooting off terms and triggering the viewers listening. Because, she brings up how kids not learning hard academics anymore. Forget math and science. Yeah, because Republican Party, all about investing into education, all about that math and science. She mentions Dr. Fauci randomly because, again, this is what bothers conservatives, mentioning Dr. Fauci's name. That's like, oh yeah, Dr. Fauci, I hate that guy. That's as much of the thought process going on here. And then critical race theory, oh, it has the word race in it, must be bad. Critical race theory is just about how race interacts with society. Again, these are all just terms that are spouted off as a way to try and anger conservatives listening, get them angry at Cardi B and the left. That's the idea here. It's just completely insane. And to give you an idea of how Fox News has spent a lot of their time over the past several weeks, here is a quick 11-second clip of what they've been discussing.
Latest apparent victim of the cancel culture that saw Dr. Seuss's books pulled from the shelves, Mr. Potato Head losing his gender, and social media critics saying some Looney Tune characters are no longer welcome.
This is... it's amazing how much they get wrong in 11 seconds. Mr. Potato Head did not lose his gender. They just changed the name, the overall product name, to Potato Head because they have a couple of products that are not just a Mr. So they have Mr. Potato Head here, written down, still exists, and they have Mrs. Potato Head. So maybe instead of the overall product name being Mr. Potato Head, it makes more sense to be Potato Head, and that allows them to produce more products under the Potato Head product line. That's all this is. But this was manufactured into a plastic potato no longer allowed to have a gender because of the trans people. I mean, that's ultimately what they were trying to communicate here. Again, more fear-mongering and outrage over nothing. And when it comes to the Dr. Seuss books being pulled from the shelves, that was the decision made by the Dr. Seuss Enterprises, the company that owns Dr. Seuss. They have 6 books that have overtly racist imagery in them. I covered that recently. They decided that, hey, these books aren't really good. Maybe we should pull these off the shelf. And they decided to do that. Not anybody else. The company themselves decided to pull the books off the shelf. And conservatives, in response to that, ended up buying up all the Dr. Seuss books as an apparent reward to the company that they should be mad at because they're the ones that pulled the books. But they instead rewarded them for pulling the books without even realizing it. Because, again, they thought that they were forced to pull the books when they were not forced to pull the books. It is just amazing how much time in conservative media is wasted discussing manufactured outrage like this while completely ignoring the actual issues affecting real people.